Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of First Look Final Word, the podcast where we take you along to see a new movie with us. I'm Pete.
And I'm Trevor. What's going on, you kung fu / karate experts?
Yes.
Today we're seeing Karate Kid Legends. After a family tragedy, kung fu prodigy Li Fang, well, that's already so weird. Why is it talking about kung fu when it's a Karate Kid movie?
Well, we can get into
is
that.
uprooted from his home in Beijing and forced to move to New York City with his mother. When a new friend needs his help, Li enters a karate competition, but his skills alone aren't enough. Okay, so it is focused on karate.
So he does enter a karate competition. That's interesting. Why would he do that?
But yeah, he knows kung fu, but he's going into a karate competition. So at least it sounds like in this one they're acknowledging that kung fu and karate are two different things.
Yeah, it's not just like, well, we need to call it this because that's a recognizable name.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this in the past, but I feel like I'm a bigger Karate Kid fan than you are. Is that fair to say?
100% more of a bigger fan because I've seen the first one exactly once in
Really?
full.
Oh wow.
It's one like you caught a little bit on cable all the time, but
Yeah.
I've definitely just watched it once all the way through, and I remember being surprised at the ending.
You were surprised that he won?
No, I'm surprised he like kicks the kid in the face to win.
It's a classic.
It was that crane shot's very classic.
Oh yes, yes. There was no foreshadowing to that at all during the movie.
I've not seen any of the sequels aside from the, Will Smith produced one with Jackie Chan. Right. So why don't you just list off all your bona fides?
Yeah, well, I am the opposite. I'm a huge Karate Kid fan. I love. I mean, we talked about this recently, but like Karate Kid was on my rotation when I was growing up with like a VHS that I had, that I think was recorded off the TV as well. But only the first and the third one, weirdly enough. It's like we talked about Superman. It's like I didn't have them all, so the second Karate Kid movie I've not really seen that many times, but the first one and the third one I've seen so many times, and I just freaking loved it. I loved the Karate Kid. It was just like part of my childhood. I loved it, and I was captured by that whole like karate / kung fu like thing where it was like everyone was pushing that. So I was well into that. And then but that was like when I was growing up and I kind of put it to bed a bit. I did watch, like, I even watched Karate Kid 4. Is like Hilary Swank who's in that?
I was going to ask if Hilary Swank was in 3, okay. But
no, it's 4, so...
How many of them actually star Ralph Macchio?
Yeah, so he was in the first 3.
Okay.
And then not in the 4th, but Pat Morita was in the 4th. So Mr. Miyagi was in the 4th. That was why it was still the Karate Kid. But it was I think they called it the New Karate Kid, and that was the name of the movie.
So for the first 3, it's Mr. Miyagi teaching Ralph Macchio?
Yes, basically, yeah. Yeah, like in the first one is the first one. The second one, they go to Okinawa and it's set there.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then the third one is back in the valley, and a new bad guy shows up. But yeah, so... I mean, they're not like the best movies ever made, but they're just like the...
Well, the first one's like pretty solid.
Yeah, they're just like... And they're very 80s. It was just like... Well, part of the time growing up, it was like... Just reminds me of being a kid. But yeah, so anyway, I sort of dropped off from being a Karate Kid fan. I did watch the remake, with the Jackie Chan remake, which is so weird because it's not. And actually, I rewatched it this week. I actually did homework for this, Trevor, this week, because I was like, I'm going to rewatch that because I hadn't seen it for so long, and I was really surprised by how much of an exact remake it basically is of the Karate Kid. It's like
instead of like a California town,
yeah, they just moved it to
Beijing,
they just moved it
right?
Yeah, and then made it Kung Fu instead of karate, which, like you said, doesn't make a lot of sense. But
for whatever reason, they made it like a 9-year-old instead of like
no, I think he's supposed to be like 11. He's just a small kid.
I don't know. Yeah, he seems really young though, compared to like Ralph Macchio, who's driving a car and stuff.
That's true. Yeah, well, he's a kid. It's the Karate Kid. Well, like karate teenager.
They're also setting up like a romance for it, and like it feels super weird when it's kids that young.
It was super weird, and it's not a good movie, to be honest with you.
The only reason he is 11, and I thought he was even younger than that, is because like Will Smith's son was 11 at the time.
It's like nepotism, the movie, basically.
Well, like I can't think of a more egregious example as that.
But you know what? All that being said, I watched it again this week, like I said, and while it's not a good movie, it's not as bad as I remembered, and I don't think it's as bad as people think. It's a decent movie. For a remake of The Karate Kid, it's pretty decent.
I don't remember it being bad.
Yeah,
I just remember I went into it being annoyed that Will Smith is just like setting up his son on this path,
Right.
and being annoyed that they called it the Karate Kid when they're
Yes.
clearly not practicing karate, and no one says anything. They're calling it kung fu the whole movie.
I know. I think there's even like, because I'd rewatched it. There's even a bit where his mum calls it karate and he corrects her, and it's like, it's not karate, it's kung fu. It's like, oh man.
And I feel like maybe they would like there had to have been a debate. Do we call this the kung fu kid?
Yeah, I think in China it was called something else as well. Obviously, but like not a direct translation of the original. But yeah, I think it was one of them where it's like, well, you know what? We're remaking the Karate Kid. It's the same story. Let's just call it the Karate Kid so people know what to expect, and people don't really worry about karate versus kung fu unless you're a nerd like I am.
Well, I'm sure there was a conversation with like Jackie Chan where they're like, hey, could like the film be set in Japan and you just like pretend you're Japanese and you're teaching karate? And he's like, no, I'm not going to be doing that.
No, it was like it was like I remember I was reading about it, and it's like he got like access to everywhere because he's so loved in China. They like just let they were like one of the only movies to shoot in the Forbidden City and stuff.
Yeah,
like weirdly the Karate Kid remake because it was just like Jackie Chan can do no wrong, and we'll give him whatever he wants.
Well, we've mentioned it on the podcast before, talking about Jackie Chan and like what a great like stuntman he is and great martial artist, but he's also is just like a total hack for the Communist Party of China.
He is. He's Chinese through and through, that man.
Well, but he's from Hong Kong. Like he was not born into like communist Chinese
maybe
rule.
Not through and through there, but you know. Yeah, go back and listen to our police story episode if you want to hear us go talk more about Jackie Chan.
Yeah, like, and I love Jackie Chan, but apparently he's like a total asshole. But
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna choose not to believe.
I love him as a movie star for sure.
Yeah, well, he's amazing.
I just feel like we have to mention that.
Yeah, and I felt like they didn't really utilize him as much as they maybe could have in the Karate Kid movie.
Yeah,
I mean, it's worth having Jackie Chan in your movie, but he didn't fight enough. But I mean, I guess that's the point. Mr. Miyagi didn't really do much fight in the first one either.
Did Jackie Chan in that? Because I assume like he's playing the same character in this one, right?
He's just Mr. Miyagi. He's exactly the same character.
Like, did he?
You mean in this new one or in that one?
In that one,
yeah.
Like, did he have a tragic backstory in that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same tragic backstory. His wife and kid died. Well, I don't know if it was the exact same. It was a car crash. He crashed the car and his wife and kid both died.
I see.
Because there's this running thing where he's fixing up a car in his living room, and they're like, "Why are you fixing the car in the living room?" And he just every year he fixes it and then smashes it up.
Oh,
it's like a cathartic release.
I forgot all about it.
So did I, and I was like, "Man, it's getting pretty dark." But like Jackie Chan plays it really well.
He's a good actor.
He's a decent actor. He's not just doing flips and stuff.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, are you a Cobra Kai guy? I'm guessing not if you had not seen the movies.
I've not watched
a
single minute of it or like even like a promo on YouTube.
Oh wow, that's really surprising.
No,
I remember when it came out, I was a bit like, oh, I don't really need that. It's just gonna be one of those daft like legacy things where they're just trying to do a quick grab of nostalgia just to get some views. So I didn't watch it for a while, and then I started hearing that it was actually really good.
People kept saying it was pretty good, right?
So then I jumped into it, and you know what? It's freaking great. It's like it knows exactly what it is, and it's even less serious than like the Karate Kid was. But it does it in a heartfelt way. I don't know how it does it. It's like it knows that it's goofy, and it leans into the goofiness of it because it's like people like kids are suddenly all into karate. It's like Karate Kid. It's like karate is the only thing that teenagers care about apparently now anymore. It's like why would that happen? But it's so good, and they did 6 seasons of it.
Is it done now?
Yeah, it's done now, and I dropped off because the first few seasons were really good, and then it was just like, oh, they're doing more karate, and now they're like, this one hates this one, and they've got to do a karate fight. It's like, oh, it's just got a bit repetitive and a bit boring. And so I dropped off and never watched the last season. So to do more homework to this, I binged season 6 of Cobra Kai this week.
Wow!
I literally watched the final episode of Cobra Kai about an hour ago because I wanted to see where they and I'm pretty sure that there's not going to be any tie-in whatsoever with this movie and any of Cobra Kai. But I just wanted to see.
I feel like there's going to be at least something because they're trying to get those fans to go to this. Yeah,
there'll probably be a couple of mentions or something just to be like, I remember that from the show. But like, I don't think anything that happens in the show is going to affect this movie or at all. But no, the last season was really good, man. It's a really good show. Like, especially if you're a fan of the movies, because like to me, this is like doing the legacy thing right, where yes, it's just pulling things in because they were in the movies, but they're not like trying to be sneaky about it. They just
Right. He's
like they
fully embraced
they
it.
literally pulled everybody they could find or that was still alive from those movies and shoehorned them into the Cobra Kai show. And then when they showed up, they'd be like, "Oh, look, it's you!" And then they'd literally show a clip of them from the movie because you wouldn't remember otherwise because it was some guy that was in one
it's
scene.
like who's now like 40
It's like,
years
you remember
older.
that one of the goons from the first movie who was his mate? Like that was him. It's him. We got him in.
Guy's probably like an accountant now or something.
Exactly. And sometimes they do that, right? Like one of them was like they make him a minister and stuff like that. It just shows up. But yeah, it's like every single person they could find, they just pull back in. Like the bad guys are the bad guys from the movies and all that kind of stuff.
Well, that's cool. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it so much.
So I'm like hyped for Karate Kid, and I have no idea what this new movie is because, like we said, the Jackie Chan one was not supposed to be set in the same universe as the original. It was a remake. It's nothing to do with karate. It's in a totally different country. And somehow now they're going to combine the two and have them be.
I guess so. Like
training. I mean, that's interesting.
I don't think that one from, no, was that like 10 years ago that came out?
The Jackie Chan one?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2010.
Okay. So even longer, so 15 years ago. I don't know if that has like any real cultural legacy.
Yeah, like I don't know if people are clamoring out for that one, right?
And I don't think Will Smith is involved in the production of this movie,
I don't know.
right?
I don't know if he is. No, I don't think he is because I know he gets producer credit on Cobra Kai because his production company like owned the rights. So I think he just like contractually they had to put him as a producer, but I don't think he is on this new one. So I don't know if the rights lapsed or he sold them off or whatever. But yeah, I don't think he is on this one.
Okay.
I'm excited to see this one though because like it looks like they found a kid who actually can do kung fu. It's like,
well, that's great.
It's like fair play, and like that was kind of the point of the Karate Kid movies. Is it was like it's supposed to be kids that didn't know kung fu and they like learn it real quick.
Yeah,
and they're the underdogs, which was fine. But I mean, like some of the fighting in Cobra Kai, even you're just like, oh, these guys cannot fight. This is ridiculous. Well, that's it's like clever editing, but come on now.
That is what I really appreciate about that first movie is like they just are focusing on. I'm going to teach you the fundamentals so well that that's all you're going to need.
Exactly. And it's all defensive, basically, right? That's how he wins at the end, is it's like, because the guy goes steaming in. Which they just talked about in the last episode of Cobra Kai. It all came full circle, Trevor.
So did they come to an understanding, those two?
Oh man, they're best friends.
Are they?
It was best friends
after the first.
Amazing.
In the first season, did they become best friends?
No, in the first season they're enemies.
Okay,
and then they have to become kind of friends together. But like, because he brings the Cobra Kai back, and so then Daniel LaRusso's all pissed off because he's just become a car salesman now, like a real. Well, I say a car salesman, but he has his own showroom and he's like super well off and stuff. But so he's like, well, fuck yeah, I'm gonna bring my Aggie-Do back, and then they have, and there's warring dojos and there's split loyalties, and then in the end they become friends and fall out.
So did like Ralph Macchio just become like a super famous karate person,
like
right?
like locally famous,
right?
Like he runs
he's on a billboard.
He runs his whole like car showroom through like, hey, get a bonsai tree when you buy a car. Remember me? I was good at karate. So it's like one of those local celebrity, Daniel LaRusso. But he's like giving it all up and stuff. Yeah, but no, it's a great show. Anybody who has seen Karate Kid and not Cobra Kai, I don't know who those people were. I guess Trevor, but nobody else. Give it a go. I mean, it's on Netflix.
And I saw,
just stick it on.
When I did see Karate Kid like all the way through, I was a grown man in my 30s.
Yeah, I was good. That's what I mean. When you said that, I was good. I forgot.
It was like 5 years ago or so that I watched it.
That's crazy.
Because I'd seen so many bits and pieces of it.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I feel like I need to watch this from start to finish because it just feels like a big hole in my.
That would be so odd for me because, like, to me, it was just like quintessential growing up in the early 90s and late 80s movie.
Honestly, like I felt very fulfilled just watching the Ninja Turtles to get all my martial arts stuff. Like I felt very fulfilled.
True. Yeah, I was big Ninja Turtles, but I even liked that movie. What was that? What was that Chuck Norris movie where he was like an imaginary friend for the kid? Sidekicks.
You know what? I never saw that one.
Oh, it's not good.
I've just
well, like I was banging into it because I was like, yeah, more karate.
I had only heard about that movie for the first time listening to that
Oh, that book?
the Last
Yeah.
Action Heroes
Yeah,
book.
yeah. I remember when they were talking about it, and I was like, I
And like
remember that
talking
movie.
about how such dog shit that movie
Yeah, it's
is.
not good, but I mean, like, it's Chuck Norris trying to teach a kid karate.
It honestly sounds like a great premise.
Yeah,
Like,
I remember it being awesome because I watched it when I was like 6. But if you watched it now, it's probably awful.
so did you take karate because you were into it so much?
I did, but not for very long. I hated it.
I took it for one like free lesson, and I thought it was the most boring thing ever.
I did it a bit like I think I got my yellow belt, which is what most people do. Both my kids got their yellow belt and then immediately quit after that because like karate is very for people who don't know karate, it's not like exciting. It's not like MMA.
Right.
It's like doing kata and learning stuff. It's pretty like you have to be hardcore karate to stick at it because I was like, this is so dull. It's like learning how to dance.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So how high is yellow? Is that like the second
Oh yeah,
tier?
that's like after white.
Okay.
After white is yellow.
Well, I made it through one lesson, and I thought it was the most boring thing in the world. But to be fair, it took a lot to interest me as a child.
Trevor had high standards.
No, I had severe attention problems.
Fair enough. I'm medicated ADHD as well. Yeah, so anyway, I'm pretty hyped for this movie. And also I'm hearing it's quite good. Like I've not dug deep into any reviews or anything, but
I just saw the cinema score.
Scuttlebutt is that it's not that bad of a movie. Because I was like, this is either going to be a total turd or actually be quite fun.
Well, that's what I was going to say about the Jackie Chan one from 15 years ago, is that like I had a lot going against it going in, and it still surprised me. And I thought, you know what, that was decent.
Yeah, and I rewatched it, and I rewatched it fully expecting to just be like, oh, Jaden Smith, what an absolute twat he is. Like, why did they put him in this movie? It's horrible. And you know what, he is a bit like that, but his character is a bit like that, and he does a pretty good job. I'm not gonna lie, he does a pretty good job in that movie.
So you're like number one Jada fan?
Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, come back, man. And then I was like really upset when I found out he wasn't going to be in this movie.
Oh, that's too bad.
I wasn't upset. That was a joke. I did not want to see Jaden Smith show up in this movie.
Oh yeah, I said Jada. It's Jade. Sorry.
What did you say, Jada?
I said Jada.
Jada, that's his mum, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. I know.
He was also a producer, I guess, on that movie. Because over the end credits, there was lots of cheesy pictures of Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith like hugging on him and like, look how great our family is. And I was like, come on, man, put it in the credits.
trying to make that whole family like a dynasty.
You remember back then when Willow Smith had that song?
Yeah, it's like whip my hair
back and forth.
Yeah,
oh my word, they were like the proto Kardashians.
Did you ever see like that Key and Peele sketch where
I never saw a lot of Key and Peele. I don't know why, because I find it hilarious, but I never actually watched the show.
If we have time before the movie starts, I'm going to show you that sketch.
Pull it up on YouTube.
Where he's playing like Jaden,
like Willow Smith.
No, he's playing Jaden, like talking to his agent, like trying to find like his next role for movies. And his agent's trying to explain to him like what the movie's about, and it's about a guy working at a grocery store. He doesn't know what a grocery store is, and he doesn't know what a job is.
It's probably not far off real life, man. Yeah.
So, like the one line is like, well, okay, so you know how the maid comes to your house and cleans everything, right? And he's like, the maid has a job, and he's like, okay, so I'd be like the maid at this store. And they're like, yeah, sure.
Close enough. Yeah, you'll have to show that to me.
Okay. Well, before we run out of time,
yes,
I wanted to get on to our Project Superman discussion.
Soups.
So for regular listeners of the podcast, Pete and I, we have these ongoing projects. Right now, we're talking about all the live-action Superman movies, except for this one, which is a bit of a cheat, but kind of in the same universe.
Yeah,
I think it's okay.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, because it's not so. Without spoiling anything, because it's not Superman. We're doing Supergirl this week.
Yes,
I was trying. The reason why I paused, I was trying to think. Was there any other movies that came out about super people? But I was like, there's no other super people to do it, or is it?
So this movie, it's by the Salkinds. I hope I'm saying that name right.
Yeah, Kins or Kins?
Salkinds or Salkinds. Yeah. They're the same people who produced the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. Yep. Christopher Reeve was supposed to appear in this movie.
It's like they were like the first. I guess they were maybe the first ones to try and get the DCEU going.
But this is a prototype for like what Marvel did eventually.
I mean, it was a good idea. It was just too bad that it didn't quite go to plan. Let's say.
So like they were trying to just create like an extended universe with different characters. Like we don't have to have a Superman focused movie all the time.
Can you imagine they've done the next one after Supergirl would have been Batman v Superman?
Maybe.
Can you imagine that version? What would that have been like?
Well, it's interesting
bringing Adam West.
But they did this one before, like, going to any other DC well, or you know what? They probably just had the right to the Superman universe, is why they were doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is interesting that like it took Marvel like over 20 movies to have a female-led movie, and then they did it on their fourth and like second lead or whatever.
Well,
right?
I mean, there's probably a big reason for why is because of how badly this movie did. Because it was like Hollywood for the longest time was like, people do not want to see female superheroes. They just don't want to see them.
I think
there's no market for it.
I think that still is like a big messaging today.
It really is. Yeah, it's really hard. Like go and listen to our episode on the Marvels to get more into that. Like, yep, it's not without merit, the argument, but the counter argument is just because they've never put any effort into doing it, which is kind of true for this one as well. Like, what did you think of Supergirl, Trevor? Had you seen this one before?
I'd not seen a single frame of this movie before.
No, I thought I had, but the scene that I had in my mind was not in the movie when I watched it this week. Okay. So I was like, maybe I.
What was the scene that was in your mind?
I had a memory of her being like on a volcano. Like, okay. Well, I guess maybe I was thinking maybe it's the end when they go up the mountain, but yeah, I had like
when they're in the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, but like in the crater of a volcano. I don't know why I had that.
Well, she was in that like tar pit. Or whatever.
That was so odd. I was like, is that the monster that it killed Tashiar?
Yeah,
that's exactly what my mind had.
I was thinking that too. Because she kind of just falls in there like a bit of a oops.
Yeah. Should we start at the beginning then? Like,
let's start at the beginning. Well, let's
set this movie up.
I do just want to say, I didn't think like every single aspect of this movie was a disaster. I think this movie had some interesting things going for it.
Yeah.
I think the movie as a whole is quite bad, but I don't think it's like a complete failure of a project, because there is some interesting things there that I want to call out.
Okay, I want to hear those, because I did not
find
anything.
I would say like
I did not find anything to like in this movie.
I would probably give this movie like a 2 out of 10.
Yeah, it's really
so bad.
We're on the same page.
We are completely on the same page.
I'll probably agree with the stuff that you pick out is quite good, but yeah, I think I was so much just like it was a struggle to like. I usually will watch anything, especially superhero stuff. But like this was a struggle for me. I was like, how much is longer of this movie? Like if we weren't talking about it on the pod, I would have shut it off after 20 minutes. Like, I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
I was a bit like, oh my word.
Well, I was going to say, I actually, and I can't remember her name now, I actually like her as Supergirl.
I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll give you that,
I think that she's doing like a really good like parallel performance to Christopher Reeve, and that it's like just like very shucks and wholesome, yes, and like just like a force for good without it being like completely hokey. Yeah. And I think like, she very much like looks the part.
Yeah, she was very good. First ever role.
First ever role, like she was cast amongst like thousands of people who auditioned. So
yeah, but a bit of synergy for this Karate Kid movie, because I think they did that for the kid in this, right?
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, because really look for someone who fits the part rather than just sticking someone. Helen Slater is
yeah, and like she didn't really have like a very interesting career after this, right? Like
I don't think so. No, she showed up in Supergirl, the show.
Yeah, but like I think that she is pretty good. Like it's tough to fully judge it because the movie that she's acting in is very bad. And the people who are making it don't seem to really know what tone that they're going for.
Yes, very
but
much so.
I give her a lot of credit for kind of shining in a shitty movie.
Yeah, I don't think any of the criticisms can be leveled at her at all. I think, I agree with you. She was a great choice. She did a great job. It was just a shitty movie.
And I also think like they make a lot of like very clever like flying transitions that I liked a lot.
And I really liked her flying pose with the one knee up. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So maybe one more positive for me.
I like the way she put her knee up. That was one of the best she gave for me. Yeah. Good job, movie.
So I really like the Phantom Zone in this one.
Really?
I think it's pretty good. And I think that once Peter O'Toole is in the Phantom Zone, he's really, really good.
Oh man.
And he's giving it a lot of integrity. The first scene that
I don't know if you can say integrity.
The first scene that Peter O'Toole is in is like a complete disaster, but like everyone's really bad in that one.
Yes.
The aesthetics of that scene are at least 10 years outdated. Like it looks like early 70s sci-fi with made
Yeah,
with no budget whatsoever.
that was kind of the vibe I got from this movie. I was like, I know it was like the 80s, but geez, like the Superman movies looked like was so much better in terms of the even just the special effects and the sets and whatnot. Like this looked like it was done on like a
Yeah,
they give it like a packet of crisps and two like donuts to make it, and it was like, well, just figure it out. And it was like, oh my word, it was so
uh
bad. Like some of the
yeah,
effects was so bad. I was like, oh my word,
it looked really bad. And like just kind of going with magic in general, like it's just
who made that decision?
it's always gonna look lame. And like it's very true to the comics in that like magic's like the one thing aside from
Yeah,
kryptonite
yeah, true.
that Superman is vulnerable to.
Yeah,
But like it just it's lame. It's just a little lame is the only thing. But no, I
lame
like
is a great word for it.
I like most of the Phantom Zone thing, except for her just like falling into that fucking quicksand. It's just so
Yeah,
dumb.
yeah.
But I like the look of it. I like Peter O'Toole in that scene, who's like banished for being the biggest fucking idiot in the world, like losing their only hope of survival.
Yeah,
Like,
like not
whoops.
like losing it in a really stupid way.
It's
He's
just
just like
so
so flippant
he's
of
just
it.
trying to fucking like impress like a 19-year-old girl. Like we all know what you're doing,
Yeah, it
Peter.
was so creepy. That some of those bits, I was like, even the bit in the Phantom Zone, I was like, man, he's just like a weird creeper. Like he's way
Yeah.
too old to be acting like this stuff in front of this girl. And I guess they were trying to go for like a fatherly
Yeah, it's just
presence,
it
but it
is
just came off kind of creepy.
yeah. I agree. And I like it is kind of incredible like the cast that they got for this one
Well,
around her, right?
they crammed it right so with people. Just like, well,
It's
just
like
we'll put known people in it.
they got Mia Farrow there for one
Yeah, for like
day,
nothing.
and they got like Faye Dunaway, who is still like a really good get in the early '80s, although like her star is fading a little bit, obviously.
I read that she like came so close to being fired from that movie so many
Well,
times.
she was pretty bad for like for someone who is like such a great actor. This is
Yeah.
like a disastrous
And like it really threw
performance.
me off because like every time it was her in like a medium shot or close up, it had like that old style like soft focus and the lighting
Yeah.
right in her eyes and like it just didn't match anything else. I read up and it was like that's because she demanded that they do that.
Oh, so she wanted to.
Yeah, and he was like, but it's gonna look like garbage and not fit with anything else. She's like, well, I'm not doing it unless you do that.
It's kind of funny how close to Joan Crawford she got
It really was.
in real life.
And you could
But
you really see it in the movie because it's like she was in a totally different movie from everyone
yeah,
else. Just like someone tell her that they're
but
not doing that kind of movie.
I was thinking of this question as I finished the movie. Like,
Why did I do
like,
that?
no, no. Is there a worst performance by a great actor than
Oh,
this movie? And like
there's plenty.
but I'm saying like a
Like
a master actor like Faye Dunaway, who's been
well,
so great in so many things, and like this is just totally.
I was gonna say Battlefield there, but I don't know if you could call John Travolta.
I would
a
not.
great
I would
actor.
not. I would not count. Like
Greatest actor of our time, John
I thi-
Travolta.
oh my god, I think he's a great movie
I've
star.
never actually seen that movie either, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's not good. But no, I think he's really I think she's really bad in this one. And like Peter O'Toole, who like people might not even really kind of realize how big Peter O'Toole is,
Yeah,
but
true enough these
he's
days.
like he's a like an equivalent to Marlon Brando
Yeah,
in terms of like
That,
stature.
well, that's
I would
why
say.
they put him in the movie, right?
Yeah.
Like we need someone of that ilk to legitimize this movie.
Yeah, the most nominated person of all time to have never won an Oscar. It's kind of crazy.
He didn't get
But-
nominated for this movie.
No, he didn't get nominated for this one, but he is a very very good actor,
He is.
and I think he's doing the best he can in those.
Yeah, I kind of felt like he was just doing this for a paycheck. I didn't feel like there was no truth in that art.
Well, but it's tough when every single actor is bad. Then
Yeah, I
it's
get
tough. It's tough to blame the
you saying they
actors.
brought O'Toole down to their level?
Maybe like that opening scene was pretty rough though.
Yeah. As soon as it started, I was like, "What is happening? What am I doing? What am I into with this?"
So I was gonna ask, why does everyone want to fuck this groundskeeper? Like, what is with this guy that
Which groundskeeper?
the groundskeeper that Selena like has to
yeah, the young guy
hypnotize?
Like,
Yeah, he's
McNosher or whatever.
yeah, he's
I
just
didn't get that. I
he's
didn't get that at all.
just like a groundskeeper for the college
Do
or
you know
whatever.
why, Trevor? Is because when they produced this movie, they're like, "Oh, this is a female-led movie with a female villain. How do we make guys want to watch this?" Like, well, there's obviously going to be a dude in it that they're all trying to fuck, and that's your way in.
I guess so that he's our proxy.
Yeah, even just regular guys like you and I, Trevor, we can take our shirts off, and even Supergirl and an evil witch will want to go will
But
want to
man,
marry
like
us.
she's like trying really hard to make this guy fall in love with her. Like, and it's just someone that she happened to see on the side of the road one time.
Like I so quickly lost the point of this movie that I stopped even trying to figure it out. I was like,
Yeah.
why are
Well,
they
did you
why are
watch
they
the-
doing what? Why are they doing this? Who knows why?
Did you
What?
watch like an assembly cut of this movie or something?
I might have because
Because that could explain why you're calling this movie a 0 and I'm calling it a 2.
I honestly, it just might have been my headspace when I was watching it. It was fairly late at night, and I was like 30 minutes in. I'd completely lost like all concept of what was going on with this movie. It was just like every scene. I was just like, that is horribly done.
Well, this is
I didn't like any of the characters. I didn't like any of the set pieces. It was like even Supergirl was like, yeah, I get it. Like her like pretending to be in school. I was like, this is so boring. I don't understand.
The entire reason that she pretended to be in school is so that she could do like a Goodwill Hunting-esque like I solved the equation in 5 seconds thing, and that's literally it.
And like, oh, I'm Lois Lane's sister. I'm in this movie for reasons. And I was like, okay.
Well, can you explain like why? Like she's saying she's Clark Kent's cousin.
Yes.
But her name is Linda Lee or whatever. Like, why did you pick that name?
This is entirely my point, Trevor. If you even think for 1 second about any aspect of this movie, it immediately falls apart.
Jimmy Olsen's in this, though.
Yeah, and it's like, hey, Jimmy Olsen's here for some reason. Oh, I guess it's because he's trying to bang a teenager.
Like, yeah, he's going after the young college kids.
So creepy. It's funny, though, because I read that the actress who plays Lois Lane's sister was actually like 32.
Okay.
Like well, older than the actor who played Jimmy Olsen.
That's hilarious.
Supposed to be like 15 in the movie.
Oh man, yeah,
like,
that's
fair play.
Yeah, yeah. This movie.
No, I don't know. I feel like I'm being too down on it now, but I just really didn't like it.
Because like this movie's like very rapey too. Like
that's what I mean. It was just. I don't like this phrase at all. So forgive me for saying it, but it just gave me the ick. You know, people. That's what the kids say these days, right?
It gave me the ick.
It gave me the ick, and I was like, I don't need that from my Superman.
Yeah.
Or Supergirl.
So yeah, it's unfortunate this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I watched it. I'm glad that, and in the context of where we're at in our watch through as well. I mean, it makes sense that this came after Superman 3 and before Superman 4. It was just unfortunately the downslide of those movies, and I fully blame the producers for that. To be honest with you, they had it all on the palm of their hands, and they goosed it.
Well, they just made it like. It's very clear that they're just making a lot of bad decisions on where to take this franchise. Like there's an alternate world where they just let Richard Donner stick with this, and then he just like
killed it,
kept killing it.
The Donnerverse.
Yeah,
I would have been there for that.
Honestly, I would love to like look up if he had like a plan for where to take the movies past the second ones.
I think he might have. You know, I think I might have read that.
Because you know what,
some input into some plans
probably would have been better.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But we've got like these are some very interesting failures at the very least.
Well, and I will give them a bit of a pass because the movie they made after Supergirl was one of my favorite Christmas movies, Santa Claus the movie.
They're the same people who made
the Salkins. Yeah, that was the next movie.
Okay,
the same director as well, I believe.
That did like the Tim Allen, the Santa Claus?
No, Santa Claus the movie.
I've no idea.
The 80s.
I've no idea what this movie is.
Well, not many people do, but it's amazing.
I've never even heard of this before.
John Lithgow is the bad guy. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
It's got Dudley Moore as the main elf.
Oh well, I guess like he's got the right height.
Let me clarify this. This is also not a very good movie, but one that I grew up watching, and it's one of my favorites. But yes, objectively not great, but I love it.
Well, Dudley Moore in the 80s, he wouldn't have been cheap to get that.
No. I believe they wanted him in Superman 3.
What is wrong with these people? Like, they just don't know.
I don't know what's going on with them.
So they just like, I like Richard Pryor. He's funny. Let's put him in this movie. I like Dudley Moore. He's funny. Exactly. Let's put him in this movie.
That's exactly how it goes, Trevor. Yeah.
John Lithgow, like, that just sounds like good casting. I'm not going to criticize that.
It's like the hammiest he's ever been in a movie. It's amazing.
Okay. More than Cliffhanger?
He plays an evil toy maker.
Okay.
Like businessman.
All right, maybe I'll have to watch this next.
Get it on your rotation.
December.
Get it on your rotation for Christmas. You won't.
Do your kids like it?
Like might be strong. they don't mind it.
Okay.
When they were younger, they tolerated it a bit better, but as they got older, they're like, this is very cheap 80s garbage, isn't it? And I'm like, yeah, but it's.
But Dad likes
How
it.
funny Dudley Moore is.
You should show them Arthur next.
Oh, they'll love that.
All right, well, we have
Yeah.
we have arrived at the theater. Pete and I are going to be talking Superman for the next month and a half or
Yes.
so, leading up to Superman Legacy. But for now, we're going to go and watch Karate Kid Legends. And now I'm off track.
We're gonna
deviated from
figure
mine.
out exactly why Mr. Miyagi's not Mr. Miyagi. I forget his name from Jackie Chan's name.
Mr. Chan.
Mr. Chan, there you go, and Daniel LaRusso need to team up to do kung fu / karate in some way.
Yeah, and we'll give you spoiler-free reactions as soon as we leave the theater, and then give you plenty of warning before going into spoiler talk.
Yeah, so don't worry about getting spoiled right away. We won't ruin the movie for you. We'll just tell you if it's worth your time, pretty much.
All right, wish us luck, everybody.
Yeah, don't go anywhere, guys. Welcome back, everyone. All you karate legends.
You are all karate legends, each and every one of you.
In your own way.
All right, so Pete, as like a self-described huge Karate Kid fan,
You're right.
how did you like this entry?
Oh, I didn't love it. I'm going to be honest. Didn't love it. It was not what I was expecting going in, I would say, especially the first like half, even though it wasn't a long movie. Like it wasn't like I had expectations in my head of what it was going to be, and it wasn't that. Well, I should say it wasn't that for like the first half of the movie, and then it sort of becomes more of what I was expecting. But yeah, I don't know. It sort of sold me on what I wasn't expecting. I'm trying not to spoil anything, but like, so I was kind of
okay. So you liked where it was going.
I mean, I kind of like it after I got over the initial like, oh, this is not what I expected. I was kind of it won me in, and I think mostly because I thought he was great, the kid. I thought he was.
I completely agree. I think he was great.
He was like a revelation. I thought in this movie, and again, kind of, actually, like pretty much all the new cast, I thought were like really well done, really likable. But yeah, then it kind of does a bit of a shift into what I was expecting more. And like, because I was like, okay, so we'll get the movie I was looking for eventually. But then when it came, I was kind of like, I didn't really like it as much.
Do you think had you not seen Cobra Kai, you would have enjoyed it more? Like, did they warm out that nostalgia a little bit?
Maybe. It just kind of because I'd be interested to get your opinion because in my opinion, it was just kind of unnecessary. Like, and I don't want to spoil anything, but like my mind, because in my mind I was like, how are they going to tie in the fact that they need Jackie Chan's character and Ralph Macchio's character to come in this and like work together? So I was like, I was looking forward to that, and it took them a long time to get to that point, and when they did, I was like, I'm not really buying this.
Is this movie better if you lift Ralph Macchio?
I think, and that breaks my heart because like it's Karate Kid, and I just spent like 20 minutes telling you guys how much I loved Cobra Kai and the Karate Kid, but I don't think it's necessary to be in this movie. It seems like they crowbarred that into an already existed movie.
It was certainly a crowbar. Yes, it was certainly a crowbar.
But then I'm like, I don't understand why they would do that. I guess because they think people like Cobra Kai.
Ralph Macchio is an executive producer of the.
I mean, I guess so. It seemed a little. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I felt like the Jackie Chan stuff was also crowbarred. Like he wasn't really in it that much until the second half of the movie. Either of them. So yeah, I mean, without spoil, we'll get into more. Spoilers.
His role in the movie certainly makes more sense.
Yeah, I honestly think like. It might sound like I'm not loving this movie. Like it was fine. It was a good enough movie, but to me, it felt to me like there was a much better movie in there, like trying to get out, or that just got like cut to shreds. Because it seemed like honestly, I felt like it was a couple of different movies that had been cut up and stitched together.
Yeah, like I think the movie was totally solid. I enjoyed it. I think. Like especially the two young leads, I think were really great. They were
so good.
Trying to think of the girl's name in the movie. Mia, is it Mia?
Mia, I think you got it. Yeah, well done.
She was really great and charming and like a good overall character. And then she and Lee have like genuine chemistry together.
Yep.
So I really like that. I did like that it was doing like a different take on the whole thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was very interesting. And then yeah, when we ended up getting the Legacy sequel that we were kind of expecting that we got,
Mhm.
I didn't really mind that stuff
No,
at all.
that's fair.
And like maybe it maybe it helps that I'm not that big of a fan of Karate Kid or whatever.
Yeah.
I saw it like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Um, and then yeah, like I think the movie has some odd editing
Yeah, I was
choices.
definitely gonna say that
And like,
the pacing of the movie is so odd. Like especially in the second half, it's all over the place.
well, it seems like it edited out the emotional climax of the movie. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No,
It
like
edited out the emotional climax of the movie and turned it into like part of a montage.
yeah, I know what you mean. It did that with a lot of different like it kept like jumping to a random scene where like people were wearing different clothes and they were in a different setting, and then it would just like pull one sentence out, and you're like, was that like an entire scene that they just jettisoned and kept one bit in? And they did it like 3 or 4 times, trying to
Yeah.
get it because it was trying to move along so quickly. I think that's what I mean. It was like it was the pacing was so weird. It was like, it was like, oh shit,
Well,
we've got all this stuff that we needed to do, and we've already burned 40 minutes on this other story. So let's just go boom, 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 and we'll get it all done. It's
I
like,
I have a bit of a pitch for to make the movie better that I want you to remind me to say to you,
in,
so
in
I don't
spoilers, you mean a
forget.
spoilery pitch?
Once we get into spoiler, well, because I'm gonna say what didn't happen
All right.
for what probably should have happened, to the extent that I think that this had to have been in the screenplay at some point.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely got the impression watching this movie that this had gone through a few rewrites
What
and
did
and a few like maybe we should just add this in and jettison this bit.
Yeah. What did you think of the choreography?
I thought it was really well done. Like that kid had skills.
Yeah,
I also thought that it was a bit like I wanted more of it, if that makes sense. Like there was a couple of really good sequences, but like I felt like they were a bit short maybe, and then the actual fighting, like obviously it's not a spoiler to say there's a fight competition in this. Um, I kind of felt like it was so rushed,
it was very rushed.
and like
I didn't
I didn't really love it.
I didn't like how they were like displaying the point system
Oh
and
man, it was
stuff.
like
Like
video gamey stuff, right?
it was a little goofy.
There was
Like
a
did
lot.
Cobra Kai do that sort of thing?
No, there was a lot of weird like directorial things that were doing, like you said with the editing, like a lot of like time ramp, like speed ramping stuff of overhead New York shots and like weird wipes where it was
There were some really weird wipes, yeah.
like
Like
really like
they were having some fun.
obvious choices that they made of what they were doing, but yeah, that's what I
But
mean.
yeah,
But
the editing is a bit quirkier than the movie actually
that's what I
is.
mean. It didn't fit, right? Like, especially because like I feel like it didn't do that in the first half of the movie. It seemed that's what I mean. It seemed like a whole different movie. It did it a bit, but not as. But then it like really ramped it up, and it was like all these weird graphics and
Well, it kind of has like similar editing and stylistic choices to like Ms. Marvel, like the show,
right.
you know
So
a
that's
quirky superhero show that
yes,
takes place in New York.
but like not for the whole thing though, right?
Yeah, it was just a little bit.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I mean. It just seemed like all that stuff. I kind of on its own, it was I kind of was digging, but like mashed all together, I just felt like it's kind of odd. Like I really loved the setting in New York as well. I thought it was a great way to change it up a bit.
well, you can tell they actually filmed a lot of stuff in New York
Yeah,
too.
exactly right there. They really got a sense of place with it.
I do not think that they filmed a lot in in California or whatever that
California.
when they yeah maybe I should say anything, but
Yeah, spoiler. Daniel LaRusso's in
so
California.
is this the same Jackie Chan character who was in the other movie?
Yes,
Okay.
that's why they were laying it out thick with the take off the jacket, put on the jacket, because
Yeah.
that was his
Okay.
wax on, wax off
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
with Jaden Smith, which like
That's what I thought. I could not remember what his name was in the original one.
which like really worked for that movie because the subplot about him never picking his jacket up, so he makes him pick his jacket up and
Yeah.
put it on the thing, and he's got an attitude about it, and that's how he. So it like doesn't make any sense to run your whole school doing that.
He's just like, oh, that's a really good first opening
Yeah,
move,
that's
I
a great
guess.
gimmick.
Well, nothing ever is ever gonna replace wax on, wax off. Like it's
Yeah,
just
I know
it's just perfect.
It's amazing, but yeah, but the yeah, his whole where Jackie Chan starts this movie, it's like it's nothing. It's totally different from where he finishes the
Yeah,
first
because
movie,
like in the first movie, does he have like
like a dojo.
a whole dojo?
No, no, he's literally like
He's a janitor,
he's the
right?
Mr. Mega character. Yeah, he's like the
Yeah.
janitor for the where they live, and
So I'm glad that like
he's
maybe
done pretty well in the
maybe his
15
rich
years.
doctor sisters are like bankrolling him or something.
Is that his sister?
That's his sister,
Oh, okay.
right?
I didn't even get that.
Because those are his two nephews from the movie, right?
I guess so. I didn't even realize that. I just thought he was their teacher.
No, yeah, he said it was his uncle.
Oh, right. Fair
Yeah.
enough. No.
Unless it's just like a term of endearment. I don't know. But I was pretty sure that was his sister.
Right. I mean, it makes more sense why he'd be so involved, I suppose.
But I think that we were really robbed of like some emotional scenes between Jackie Chan and Lee's mom.
Right.
Lee's mom.
There was that one little scene where it showed them having a conversation. But like I said, it was like
that's what I'm
like the one line.
I think that should have been the emotional climax of the movie.
Okay,
but like instead of like there's just like some like music playing in the background.
Some sweet freeze frame.
Yeah. But I don't want to sound too negative because I did enjoy myself. It's a brisk 90-minute movie.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are probably going to catch this at home, and that's probably okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
This isn't something that I'd say like you have to go out to the theaters to watch, and maybe this is more of a Netflix movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm the same. It's a fine movie. Like I think the reason why I'm probably sounding so negative and down on it is because I feel like it could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
I think there was a great movie in there hiding somewhere, especially with that kid, that cast, and
I'd love to see more of that kid.
Yeah,
I think he's got the juice.
But yeah, so I mean, it was just fine. It was okay, and I was hoping it would be a bit better than that. And I think it could have been better than that with a bit more judicial or less judicial use of editing and a bit of a structure. Yeah, I think I had a lot of great ideas. Like I feel like it would have been better if they just gone ahead and made it 2.5 hour Karate Kid movie and just put all that stuff back in. But that might have just been too much.
Maybe.
I wonder if there's an assembly cut of this
that
has so much stuff in it. Like we need to get this down to 85 minutes so people will come and watch it.
Do you think? Yeah. Which would the better version be? Like the longer version of like just more of everything we had, or lifting out the Danny LaRusso stuff?
Honestly, I think it's hard because if they lift all that stuff out, then you've got room to put more stuff in. But I think like a bit of both. Like I would have liked this to be a little bit longer, but also take a lot of stuff out.
I think this is the first movie I've like of anything I've seen of Ralph Macchio where he's like a grown up. Like because I didn't watch Cobra Kai, so I'm like I find this really weird.
It's jarring seeing him all his day. In Cobra Kai, it was jarring as well for me
because he's always just like in my mind, just like this charming little kid, like right? Little kid, like maybe like 22-year-old is as far as I'm willing to follow him, and like My Cousin Vinny or something.
Yeah.
Like it's weird seeing him be like a middle-aged man.
I know, right? And doing karate.
I don't like it.
I feel like his skills in martial arts is very overblown.
Like I'm sure
just in general, like Jackie Chan fighting Ralph Macchio, I think would be.
And there's in the movie like those two are seen together, right?
Yes.
I feel like Jackie Chan would just honestly just kick the shit out of Ralph Macchio. Like there's no question about it.
It did make me a little sad, just because, and this is nothing new, but I'm like, Jackie Chan's old now.
Yeah, he's getting old.
He's not able to do this stuff anymore because there's a scene, without spoiling stuff, there's a scene where Jackie Chan is doing Jackie Chan Kung Fu, and I'm pretty sure it's not him.
Okay. Oh, I want to hear what scene that is.
Okay, we can talk about that.
Because if it is, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, okay, because I was like, oh, yeah, we can get into it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that it was a double.
How does Jackie, is he 70?
He's got to be, right?
Yeah. Like he has gotten quite older between this one and the last.
He's still got the moves, but like he ain't like jumping and spinning around on things.
Well, Jackie Chan's just like a fucking cat, like he
is.
So like you can't keep up that pace forever.
No, God no. Not blaming him or anything. It just makes me a little sad sometimes.
I'm blaming him. Got old. He betrayed us. Okay, and is there anything else you want to mention before we get into spoilers?
I was trying to think about it, but no, I think we just need to get into spoilers. I think, to me, good movie, unnecessary Karate Kid sequel, I would say.
Unnecessary but fun.
Unnecessary but fun, but I mean, like, they could have made this movie and not had it be a Karate Kid movie, is what I mean, and I think it would have been as fun.
Oh, I see. Okay.
like strip all the Karate Kidness out of it and just make it about
Excuse me.
a new kid that learns kung fu or comes to America. Like, I would have been down
Well,
with that.
to be honest, like, he's Chinese. Let's let him be in a kung fu tournament.
Exactly right. I still didn't really fully understand the whole like we need to learn karate. Like,
They did a better job of making it seem like they were like two sides of the same coin, which I'm not entirely convinced.
No, and I think I feel like they did some super retconning of like
Oh, that like I actually
hey,
think
Mr. Miyagi always said that
I
he was
think it
kung
was
fu mostly.
I think it was kind of genius how they did that.
They did a pretty good job of doing it, to be honest.
So before we drop into spoilers, I just want to encourage everyone to keep following us on our journey of watching every live action Superman movie.
Yes.
Next week we're talking about Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. I've never seen it
Yes,
before.
we're keeping on the trail of really, really quality Superman content by jumping into the widely derived Superman 4. But you've never seen it though, right?
No, I've never seen it at all.
No, I remember this one.
Who's the villain in that one? Can you say, or
Well,
is it just Lex Luthor back?
Lex Luthor is back. They got him back somehow. I guess a huge truck of money
Yeah,
pulled
that'll do it.
pulled up at the Hackman residence and was like, "We need you back." Yeah, it's like Lex Luthor makes his sort of own version of Superman. I think it's called Power Man or something.
Okay,
So it's like
that's gonna be good.
yeah, it's like a bit like a Bizarro type thing, but not really.
All right.
It doesn't go that well, but
Make sure to tune in for that, and definitely like and subscribe to the podcast. But Pete and I are going to jump into spoilers now. So if that stuff bothers you, you really want to know, you really want to find out how Karate Kid Legends goes.
The ending. I'm not about to spoil the ending then, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I won't say anything.
All right, so spoilers starting.
Yeah, starting now. You've been warned.
So
he wins the tournament. Shockingly.
It was really clever how like they took an actual scene from Karate Kid 2.
Right.
And then like they cut it
at the perfect
place where he's just like, I assume, because I've never even seen the movie, I assume he's just telling a one-off story about some guy who got drunk and got lost and ended up in China.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, but then like they taught him taught him kung fu and he brought it back here.
I haven't seen that movie for a while either, but yeah, I'm pretty
like
certain they just sort of pulled the taffy.
They got someone who sounds
got a sound like him.
Sounds really like
Pat Morita.
Yeah. And it was really well done, though. You got to give them credit because that was very sneaky. I think that, like, unless you're really paying attention, you might not even caught that's what they were doing.
But it was so odd, though, because, like, that opens the movie, right, with there's Daniel-san and Mr. Miyagi talking about how Miyagi karate is a perfect mix of karate and kung fu. And that's going to be really important for this new Karate Kid movie. Cut to them not mentioning that at all for, like, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Until he's like, oh, I've got a friend in California. Just like, seriously? Like, I feel like we just need that at this point. This has been a whole completely different movie.
Honestly, like, you can see why the other movie just didn't even bother to try to explain why it's called The Karate Kid, but they're just learning Kung Fu.
Yeah.
Because it does just get messy because, like...
Yeah, they try to over-explain it.
I feel like these are just two different martial arts.
Yeah, and they kind of try to blur the line, right? It's like... it was interesting that, like, they start this movie with him being pretty freaking great at Kung Fu, so it's not like I need to be trained from the ground up.
I think that's a bit of a problem for the movie.
It is, but I think that's why they thought they needed to, like, oh, well, now you need to learn karate, but then... when they were training him karate, it didn't seem like he was like, oh, I'm really struggling to learn karate. It was just like, okay, I'm picking this up really fast in 4 days.
I think that the viewer doesn't really have a good idea of like, what is karate and what is kung fu and what is different about it that he needs to learn.
Yeah, like what's he doing that's different than what he already knows?
Like,
because he looks like he's just doing kung fu to me.
Ralph Macchio came in and he's like, your stance needs to be wider. We go head on and karate. That's a karate thing. I'm like, okay, like can you show me like what actually what that means?
Yeah, I really felt like they were like, oh, we've only got a week to train him. And then they're like, okay, and we'll just edit it so that it skips through like 5 days in like 10 seconds.
Yeah, they went from 7 to 5 days to 0. Like,
yeah, and it's like, oh, wow, I guess we're not doing any of that. And I was anticipating that to be the majority of the movie.
Well, so the thing that really bothers me about this movie is the mom hates Kung Fu so much that she goes and takes her son to New York, like the safest city in the world, New York.
And no one's gonna just left her on her own.
Like she uplifts their whole lives to go to New York, right?
Yeah, which
and
was
like,
very Karate Kid. It was following the Karate Kid beat of like single mother takes her kid to a new country,
yeah,
a new city at least.
but this mother has an added motivation of like, you cannot fight ever.
Right.
And then her brother, Jackie Chan, joins them in New York, and then he's like, yeah, I'm just going to teach him to do karate now, and he's going to go in this tournament. I'm gonna have one casual conversation about how, like, yeah, you should face life head on during a montage, and then she's like, oh, okay,
I'm back on board.
I'm not 100% sold on this, but I guess this is fine.
Yeah, but it wasn't even that. Like at the end, she was like, I know you have to do this, and I'm really like I'm behind you 100%. And it was a bit like, why are you behind him? Because I thought he was doing this because Pacey's Pizza Place needed some money. I lost the reason why he was even doing it at that point.
Well, they didn't even explain the fact that there was a $50,000 prize money until like the first fight started.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, like they did a really bad job of explaining what the stakes were, because I feel like that just got lost somewhere in the edit.
It was way too much going on.
But there's an emotional spine to this movie where his brother dies, and then he wasn't able to save him, right?
Yeah,
and then he and his mom are just so torn up about that, and that is not resolved in any way during the movie.
No, that's very true, and that's what I mean about like I felt like there was a bunch of stuff just cut out of this movie that like they shouldn't have cut out.
Well, okay, and here's my pitch to change the movie for the better.
I want to hear this.
And I honestly think that this might have been in the screenplay because it seems so obvious.
Right.
He's teaching his like pseudo girlfriend Chinese, right?
Yes.
He tells the story about how his brother calls out to him that he needs help or whatever, right?
Okay.
But it all happens in a blur.
Yeah.
I want it to be that while his girlfriend's slowly picking up Chinese, she realized that he wasn't saying call for help. He was saying save yourself or whatever.
What, really?
And so then he realizes like, oh, my brother wasn't calling out for help, and my brother was like trying to protect me and get me away from it or whatever. So because he's carrying this guilt with him.
Okay. But but how would that work? Like she understands Chinese better than he does at some point.
At some point, like, you know, she's teaching him the word of like, you know, run away or whatever. It's like very similar to like come help me fight or whatever.
I don't know, man. I don't think I'm fully on board with that.
But when they're showing, and I do not speak Mandarin, so I don't know if there's a word that fits. But it cuts from the brother like saying like help or something really quickly.
Right.
And so I feel like maybe there's like a word or a phrase that's getting cut off there, and him just like digging into that memory can help.
I do see what you're saying, because it could have gone that way because like he's obviously blaming himself for not helping.
But like, how did he get over his brother's death? Like, just his mom telling him to like, hey, stop being knocked out now?
By fighting again. By being able to fight again.
I guess, but he was able to fight again. He fought a bunch of people in the alley.
Yeah, but not in like a competition.
They were like, that is honestly the time where you need to be able to fight more. It's like in an alley where people are trying to kill you.
Yeah, like, and it's funny because they called out that he was like, someone called him the Chinese Peter Parker at one point.
He definitely has.
I was getting huge Spider-Man vibes. I mean, obviously the New York stuff, but that fight in the alleyway in particular, I was like, this is legit just like a Spider-Man movie. I'm digging it.
Yeah. But anyways, I think that like they spent so much time going back to that memory.
Yeah.
Like there had to have been like there's got to be like some kind of like therapy session of this movie that would just make it so much more cathartic for him on this journey, because he just like kind of just like gets over it because I got to help my friend's pizza business.
Yeah. So what did you think of that whole thing? Because when the movie started and like I say, it didn't have any Jackie Chan in it. It didn't have any Ralph Macchio in it. It didn't have anything to do with that. And it was more about him meeting this girl and befriending her and her dad, and their dad having problems, and him figuring out what was going on with her dad, and then training their dad to fight better. And I was like, this is an entirely different movie than what I was expecting. Like, this is nothing like what I was expecting.
I was a little disappointed, but then I was like getting into it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I felt. I was like, oh, this is weird. This is not what I thought it was going to be at all. And then I was like, oh, this is actually cool, because he's He's training
He's
somebody
training
else.
someone
The
else.
Karate Kid
It
is
does
the
put a more
Karate Kid is the one who's training.
Joshua Jackson is the Karate Kid.
Right, exactly. And
No,
I thought he was I thought Joshua Jackson was doing pretty good work in this.
I think it would have been much more interesting. Joshua Jackson wins that first fight,
Right.
Then like that loan shark slash like gang leader slash dojo owner.
Yeah, he looked really familiar. I couldn't place him, but I felt like I knew him from something.
But he says, I just lost way more in that fight than what you owed me. Now you're even more in the red to me now.
Like Snatch, like Bricktop.
Yeah, exactly. Like now you have to both win your next fight and you have to have like your little buddy here or whatever win the 5 boroughs. That's the only way that we're squaresies.
Right, yeah.
Like give it like clear stakes.
Yes.
So that we understand why it's so important for him to win this tournament, not just like a vague like you're going to win $50,000 and maybe you'll give like 30,000 to your pizza buddy over there.
It really, like, to me, I was like, I was the same as you. I was on board with that story. And it's like, oh, this is a really interesting way of doing it. And I was following, and then like him getting put in a hospital, like that, it derailed the whole movie. And I guess that was kind of the point, because it derailed his whole like life.
Because we lost the guy and his daughter, and when we got Jackie Chan and him, and like I'm not sure this is a better movie.
Yeah, it's like, why did we spend all that time building up these characters who I actually really enjoyed?
Yeah.
To basically just sideline them for the rest of the movie so that we can get Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio doing some gags.
Yeah, I honestly think if they had another fight with Joshua Jackson, and like he has to keep training himself while training Joshua Jackson, I think that's a much more interesting movie.
Right. Like,
we fixed it.
It could have been a better movie to just have the whole movie be about him training Joshua Jackson. Like, I would have been so like unexpected. I would have been on board with that. But yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. It felt like 2 different movies, and then I didn't really like the Karate Kid movie, the second half, which I was really disappointed in. Yeah, unfortunately.
That guy was a psycho. Like, how did he not get expelled in school for just like kicking some guy in the face?
It's like insane.
Like, he's assaulting people.
Yeah, they didn't really. He didn't have enough, because that's what I mean. In the first half of the movie, they were doing a good job introducing this guy as the antagonist, who's a kind of a prick. He's the ex-boyfriend. You know, he's being a jerk. And I was like, okay, they're building him up to be the bad guy. But then they just stopped building him up to the bad guy and were like, oh, he's just a psychopath. And you have to be
like,
and it's like, okay.
If we're being honest, he's just on steroids. Like it's not that he's got a great technique.
Well, he's got something going on.
Like, he's got some issues, man. And so, are we to understand that, like, because he's like a 2-time champion of this 5 boroughs thing, has he just won $100,000 doing this stuff?
I guess so.
Because that's a lot of cash for a kid in high school to be walking around with.
Maybe he just goes to the dojo, though. Maybe that's why that guy's got so much money for his facelifts and stuff.
Jeez, and like, got a karate dojo, and you're just like this evil thug or whatever.
What did you think about the crane kick, like, secret move that we're going to train you that is going to win you the tournament?
Well, I don't think that was that effective because like it's just like was showing that they were working on a plan and then the plan worked.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not that interesting, and I don't know if it wasn't like filmed in exactly the most interesting way either.
It seemed like they spent a lot of time teaching him to do that, and then he sort of like, it was almost like he forgot that he was supposed to be doing it, and so, until he was like right at the end, I was like, oh shit, yeah, I was supposed to do that move.
Like, he almost got knocked out a few times during that fight.
He almost won a few times before even trying that move. So
yeah,
they're like, why did you spend so much time?
Why don't you do that move? He's like, I don't know, I was doing pretty well.
It's like, I almost won anyway. I didn't need to do the move.
I feel like they're not awarding as many points as they should be. Like, I feel like they were getting multiple body shots and they're not awarding.
It's very much like it has to be a clean hit without any kind of block and stuff. And there's a certain, like, you can't hit the side of the head and the back of the head, that kind of shit.
Oh, but so then like 2 points were like erroneously awarded?
I'm no karate referee, but I was just saying they could explain they could explain that away if they needed to.
I'm no karate referee.
To blow your mind.
So his nickname is Stuffed Crust, and you're Pete. I'm no karate referee.
Yeah, that'll be my fighter name.
All right. Well,
I did just want to before we sign off here though, like the sort of not really post credit but ending scene where they brought Johnny Lawrence back in.
Yeah.
Why did they do that? I mean, it's just that
That was to get
that was for the Cobra Kai fans.
exactly. Like you could, I think you can't not do it. Is
You
the
can't
thing.
not do it, but it wasn't even funny. It wasn't even a good scene. He was like,
He's just doing like a wordplay.
dough with pizza. It's like that's
Well, I don't know. Like I was just like, oh, I guess is this what the show's like? I have no idea.
that's what I mean. That's what the show's like, but it's not even as good as the show. So why even put it
Right.
in? You remove it. It had nothing to do with that. I guess because it's called Karate Kid.
Also, I don't think the pizza's that good. It doesn't look that good.
And like, correct me if I'm wrong, but New York and California are not very close to each other.
Yeah, it's like
Jackie Chan was like, I gotta go see my friend, and then he's like in California in a taxi.
yeah,
Like,
it's like a
taxi.
it's like a 4-hour plane ride.
Right? It's like we're gonna send him a piece like that. Like the effort to do that is just not worth it. Like
Yeah,
I'm
I feel like I would probably give someone a call like
Right.
first. Like that's a lot of time wasted.
just
in
shows up. Like what if he's not?
And like
what if he's not there?
he just flew there from China, which I
Right.
assume like he flew over California to get to New York.
Yeah, don't
Like
test my geography. But
He probably should have stopped there first.
He just wanted to set it up, right?
He just like tries to attack his nephew in the dark.
Yeah,
That
that was the
gone.
scene actually that I was talking about.
Okay.
Where I don't think it was him because
When
it
he was
like
on the
his
island?
No, on the kitchen island, yeah. Yeah, because his face was covered and it was dark because they were playing off like they didn't know who it was.
Right.
But I was like, I don't think that's him because he's being very energetic and jumping around with pans and stuff. So I was like, I feel like that was maybe a stunt double.
Oh yeah, maybe. But maybe Jackie Chan just doesn't want to do that anymore.
Oh, well, that's what I mean. But
Yeah.
it wasn't him in my mind. I was like, that's obviously not him.
Yeah. Well, I know that when I get home, I'm gonna Google what's Mandarin for help and what's Mandarin for run.
I see what you're trying to get at, but
If it turns out there's something to this,
you got a kernel of an idea here. Yes,
that's not a kernel. That's a whole bucket.
I just
of
don't
an
know
idea.
how. So like, I just can't imagine the scene where she's like, "But hey, these Mandarin words sound really similar. Like, run away sounds a lot like I love you or whatever, or help me." And he's like, "You know what? I think my brother was saying something else."
Yeah.
Like, how could you buy that?
It sounds ridiculous when you're saying in that tone.
But I think
obviously you need the actors to sell it.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I think you got a kernel of idea because when you said it in my mind, I was like, oh, maybe he has like a mental block in his head.
That's what I mean. That's all I'm saying.
He remembers him saying, "Help me," but he actually didn't say that.
Right.
But like having the words be so similar that he just misheard him.
I'm just saying it's maybe something like that.
I guess that's fair.
I recognize I'm taking a big swing for a language that I do not know a single word in.
I'm 25% on board with your plan.
Okay, you know what? If there's something to this, I'm going to mention on the next episode.
Please do, because I will eat much crow.
Okay. Well, you have another reason to tune in for next week's episode.
Did Trevor figure it out?
Trevor's going to learn Mandarin.
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit deflated, to be honest. I feel bad. I think I pumped myself up too much watching so much Karate Kid this week.
This was very low stakes for me, so I'm like completely satisfied, and I'm probably just going to forget about this movie in a couple days.
I probably won't ever watch it again, sadly.
Yeah, but put this kid in more stuff. Like he's pretty good.
I do like the way they explained away his perfect accent.
Yeah. So is he?
Why is your accent so good?
Is he just American?
I guess I had no idea. I didn't think he was, but when he started talking, I was like, oh man, he's definitely.
Well, because honestly, like he speaks in such a perfect American accent. Like at the beginning of the movie, I thought like it was being faked somehow. I'm like,
right? Like, did they dub him?
Yeah.
But love how they just flat out. She was like, why is your accent so good? It's like, we know people are going to ask it, so just have her ask it.
He's like, movie. He just didn't know the word bodega. That's all that was stopping him from being perfectly assimilated.
He's like, oh, don't worry about it. I learned English growing up.
I went to American school in Hong Kong.
American schools.
I feel like he would go to a British school. Well, you know what? There's probably American.
If you go to an American school, do you then speak like in a perfect American accent?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes, you do.
Got it.
No more questions. Well, this is the least of the movie's problems.
Yeah, that is very nitpicky.
But it is fun when it comes on video.
Yeah, I would say
check it out.
You should
when it comes on streaming,
especially if you like Karate Kid stuff. Like, just watch it. It's worth watching.
It's a well-worn formula, but it works.
Yes, it's not top tier Karate Kid, but which sounds like really faint praise.
Should I watch Karate Kid 2?
I kind of want to watch Karate Kid too. I haven't seen it for a long
Does
time.
he do like a tournament in Okinawa?
It's some sort of yeah. I see. It's the one I've seen the very least, and I haven't watched it again, so I can't
And
help you
so,
out with that. But he definitely does fight. I don't know if it's a tournament, but he does fight against a guy.
okay, and the third one's kind of just
There's
the
a
same
girl.
as the first
There's a
one.
girl I think as well. They're like there's a love triangle thing in the second one. So I
Oh,
guess Elizabeth Shue is just out the window at that point.
okay. I forgot it was Elizabeth Shue in the first one. Well, because she's probably like 18 or whatever.
I guess, yeah.
Uh, Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. That's it for
Is
this
that
week.
at a 6.5?
Oh,
Probably
yeah, we
probably
did.
like a 3.75.
Yeah,
Something like that.
I can't argue with that. I wanted to give it a mark, but I can't justify it suddenly. I'm gonna go back and watch Cobra Kai.
Yeah. Well, I'm probably never gonna
If
watch
you
it.
want, if you want Danny LaRusso in your life, I would say go watch Cobra Kai versus watching this movie. Sadly, but if you want to see some cool stuff in the new Karate Kid movie, then check this one out.
We're gonna watch My Cousin Vinny. He's really
Oh,
funny
there
in
you
that
go. There
too.
you go. Yeah, you could do that too. Just do a rock mic show sort of binge. Do you done anything else?
Those are the things I know him from. I'm sure he's in other
Anything else?
80s stuff.
Maybe. You must have been riding that kid wave for a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, let's wrap this up. We've talked enough about Karate Kid for 1 week or one lifetime.
All right, tune in next week. I think we're doing, or is that
Hey,
Ballerina
what are we
next
doing?
week?
Oh, is it Ballerina? Okay.
Let me just double check here. Next week, we are doing Ballerina and paired with Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
That'll be a good double bill.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah, I like the world of John Wick. Is it the world of John Wick?
I think so,
Is that
yeah.
what they call it?
Yeah.
It's not John Wick : Ballerina, is it?
There might be some subtitlage going on there.
Anyway, well, until then, guys, check us out, give us a review. And until next week, that's the final word.